Blog Talk Radio.
You deserve the best, and I can't keep treating you like I treated the rest. Oh, baby, I'm ready. I'm ready. You all of my love, all of my love, yeah. Girl, I'm tired of playing games. So many loves I can't even name. Baby, I'm ready. I'm ready. That you need morning, noon, and evening love, and I just ain't been giving you my time. Girl, I wanna give you every little piece, every little bit, every little part of me, to show you my love just can't be beat. No, baby, I'm ready. I'm ready.
And you are listening live to On the Move Unscripted, On Purpose, the ladies' round table discussion, where we talk about everything. Make sure you tune in every Thursday night at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10. So we talk about whatever you want to talk about. So make sure you tune in 8 o'clock every Thursday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. with your girls, live on the Move Unscripted on purpose. And remember, whatever you do it on purpose with purpose.
What's going on? You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussion. And you already know that we are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it tonight. We got to talk about it because there's some craziness that's going on in the world. And you know I couldn't talk about it without my ladies from the Ladies Roundtable Discussion. So I had to bring them in. What's going on, ladies?
What's going on?
Hey.
Hey.
So we definitely have, I mean, I know a lot, sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, sometimes we try to stay away from really controversial topics, but this is one of them times that we just can't stay away. We're going to have to talk about this. We're going to have to go in. We're going to have to go deep. We're going to have to go. Are y'all ready? Y'all got y'all safety nets and stuff? Are y'all ready?
You don't need no safety net. Let's go in.
Yeah, we're going to have to. But, you know, so we're going to, I'm going to start off with our conversations. This time I'm going to be muting everyone, and I'll call your name so we can kind of like everybody can get their say, because it's going to be heated. And I know how we get when we get heated, you know, unscripted, we don't give a darn. So we're going to try to keep it a little bit more orderly. So we're going to start with Kimberly McCants, the Queen Goddess, King Advocate in the house. What's going on, Mama Chicha? How your week been? Was that like a grand opening?
Yeah, that was cute. Always been all right. Nothing really major. Just doing what I've been doing as far as my products are concerned, making new scents. Y'all gonna love these, honey. I promise you. These off the chain. Yeah, just handling business, staying peace. Paying attention to what's going on in the world and what's going on in my own space, more so that. But that's about it. It's been pretty chill for me.
Okay. Well, at least, you know, taking care of your own space is more important than the space that's going on everywhere else, you know? Because if your space ain't at peace, you really ain't going to be able to deal with all this other nonsense that we got going on.
That is correct.
I definitely feel that. Okay, all right. So let's go on down the line to the next person on my list, which I think that's Misty. Am I right? Is that Misty?
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of myself. I'm trying to recognize numbers and stuff. What is going on, Misty?
So I'm just trying to make it do what it do. Well, I feel a little bit better today than I have been feeling. You know, it's like an emotional roller coaster with all the stuff going on, and you know, we got our own little things, hiccups that we go through, but God, you know, He'll pull you through every time. So I've been going on emotional roller coaster, you know, but it's okay because I still praise God and thank Him through the storm. You know, He's taking me through and bringing me out. Ain't nothing like depending on the Lord. So all is well. I'm not going to complain because it's somewhere somebody else has got it worse than me.
Without a doubt, yeah, definitely. There's always somebody doing something that's worse off. You think you got the worst, and then you hear somebody else who got it worse than you. So,
right.
Yeah.
Because, baby, that bounce back game is the bomb. You know, we got to bounce back.
Did you still get to go out and do your feeding the homeless things you do on Saturdays? Was you feeling well enough?
That's twice a month on Saturdays, so it's every other Saturday. Mm-hmm. And we also have the ministry every other Saturday, which is the Release a Kingdom. We go forth in that every other Saturday. So I didn't get to make my full schedule like I planned on because I do got my planner and stuff, but them Saturdays, you know, yeah, those are vital, you know, for God's people to go out and feed and clothe them, and also for our ministry to come forth as well. So, yes, ma'am, I still got, you know, the stuff, the feed from even when you had blessed us. You know, we still got that stuff too. So, yes, ma'am. Okay. We actually going out this weekend to feed the homeless because this is our weekend to go out and feed the homeless. So,
okay, amen. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'm glad you're back with us this week. We missed you.
Hey, man, I miss y'all too.
All righty. So we're going to slide on down the line, and we're going to go on down to R. Marie in the house. What's going on, R. Marie?
Here. It's ready. I'm doing pretty good. Had a decent week. You know, nothing spectacular, but, you know, I'm getting through it. It's almost the weekend. Thank God for that. So, but besides that, everything is good. I just left my grandson's birthday party. He turned 11 today. Happy birthday, Damani, baby. And
happy birthday!
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I could tell from your tone you can't wait to get into this topic. I can already feel it because, you know, I've been knowing you for, over 30 years. So, you know, I know you. Even through the phone, I know you. You was ready. I know that's right. Because we got some stuff to talk about that's going on in our own hometown. You know what I'm saying? So we really want to get into this tonight. But I'm glad you're feeling better. Feeling good. I'm glad you're having a good week, you know.
Yeah.
All righty. So we're going to slide on down to, it looks like we got Miss Dushon Johnson.
Hey, ladies. Hi. How are my beautiful sisters doing this evening? How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing great. I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys last week, so I'm glad to be back on and excited. You know, not just eagerly ready to have some important discussions tonight. My week has been awesome. Working on the event, some exciting things going on with that, and you know, I have no complaints. It's been busy, so it's kind of like, you know, everything's been fast paced but good. So,
well, we missed you too.
That's my week.
The At the Table has a function that's coming up or already was, like, I swear I remember seeing something for At the Table, your organization.
So what we did this past Sunday, we had a meet and greet with our honorees. So we got a chance to meet our honorees. We have, you know, our event planner was there, and we had that was one of, and all of them have been awesome. This was our fourth annual event. And when I tell you the energy was so awesome, what you saw live was them doing their celebratory walk based on introduction. So that's what that was. We had an opportunity to meet them. We have 14 ladies this year that we'll honor at the luncheon benefit, and they're all women cancer survivors. So we're excited about it. So that's what you saw, and that was an amazing, such an inspirational time. It you know, there's always someone else that has struggles, and we think, you know, we could be going through something as we do, but when you come around or have an opportunity to come in contact with someone that you like, and man, my situation isn't that bad right now. So that's what I get every time. They give me inspiration, and they are the ones that surviving every day. So I can talk about that all day. But that's what you saw this past Sunday. So I'm looking for God just to show up and work through us and do some amazing things. And anybody that supports it, man, I'm telling you, you're doing it's for a great cause, and it's important with everything going on in the community that we're out helping, and we'll be blessed as well.
Right. Okay.
You know,
well, I am so glad.
It's a very important time. Yeah, thank you for giving me opportunity to talk.
Yeah, I'm glad that you had a good week, and I'm glad that everything is going well with at the table. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, we always support each other. You know, so that's what it's all about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So this week we have a very serious. We got a serious discussion. Like we just got the results or the verdict for the George Floyd case, and so that because this is going to be a really heated topic, I want to give everyone an individual opportunity to kind of talk about your feelings about the case, and also about the recent shootings that have been happening, across the nation, police shootings, especially the one that just happened here in Columbus, Ohio. Like, I want to say, was it the same? I don't know if it was the same day or the next day after the verdict, but Micaiah Bryant. So I definitely want to give everybody an opportunity to speak, so that because I know how we ladies, we can get crunk. So I'm going to start with you, Kim, and then I'm going to work my way down, and then I'll just kind of like everybody can all kind of join in. But starting with you, Kim, what are your thoughts about the George Floyd case, the verdict, and these recent shootings, police shootings, and it seems like the kids are getting younger and younger. So what are your thoughts?
Well, on the Floyd case, it's good that he was found guilty, but there's so many other questionable things in that. For one, that particular cop has been known to be an actor. First of all, he's shown up in several other crisis cases, if you will, and he's an actor. Okay, so the person that they actually arrested may or may not be the real police officer. That's one thing. But to not deal with that part of it, I'm glad that the verdict was guilty. What was a little bit annoying about that was that he was not being charged with the highest possibilities of what he did. They made sure that he could only have the lower of pleas or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like where it could have been a higher murder case. They didn't even allow that on the table. But he was found guilty of all three, so it is what it is on that. We'll see what he gets. As far as the sentencing is concerned. In regards to the 16-year-old, I already know it's going to be some words coming at me on mute. Y'all know how I speak on information and accountability. When I first heard about it, my emotional reaction was, damn, here we go again, right? But when given and when watching the videos, I watched several of them. The girl had, she was warned by the police officers, to stop it. There wasn't a whole lot of time. It was 11 seconds, okay? There's a lot of information going on in that. Two, she had people calling 911 on her that she was, trying to stab all these different people or whatever. Where were the adults? She's 16. What were the family members doing, or the rest of the people that were standing by watching? There was other people in the household. The father, or whoever he was, kicking one of the girls that was down. You know what I'm saying? They're complaining about, when you shot a kid, you shot a child. She wasn't acting like no child. Something was going on. That little girl, that 16-year-old girl, whatever was going on in her mind was not about, I'm just going to hurt you, I'm going to whoop your ass. Her thought was, I'm going to kill you. If you saw the video, she pulled her arm all the way back. Like she was going to gut that girl, okay? She was going to kill her, for real. It wasn't, I'm going to slice you up a little bit. She was going to kill her, and there was no question about it. As far as the police officer is concerned, we keep looking at the fact that this was a white cop and a black girl. So now we're making this a black and white issue. But if you watch how the whole thing went down, it had nothing to do with the fact that he was white. He could have been green. It didn't even matter. He had no time to think about which side of my waist am I going to pull to stop this incident. If he had 11 seconds, had he waited one more second, the girl in the pink would have been stabbed, and the girl who was going to stab her would have been killed. It would have been two people dead. And that's a fact if you watch the video. So when you talk about, feeling bad because another, young black life is gone, yes, I feel bad for that. However, she got to be held accountable for her own actions, and the adult has to be held accountable for not correcting her actions or not being there before it even got to that point, because it had to escalate to get to that point. But if you watch it, they all in the background. Some of them are even rooting her on. The man is helping her by kicking the young girl in the head. What kind of shit is that? So I hope he get charges on him.
Right.
But it goes beyond goes beyond weird conditions to look at, the black and white. It ain't got shit to do with that. If the other cops had come and the white cop had not shot when he did, the other cop would have shot. They would have had to. Somebody was going to have to lose their life, sadly, that day because of the way the situation was going down. There was no way that girl in the pink was going to survive that stab because she was getting gutted the way that girl was coming at her. So basically, the police officer, by shooting the 16-year-old, saved the other girl's life.
So we got a caller who wants to jump in on this. So let me pull the caller in. Hello, caller. You have 297 in your number. You've called into On the Move Unscripted. Please say your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Long time.
What's going on? Y'all know that voice. Don't act.
No,
That's Nick.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, Nick. How you doing, Nick? So what are your thoughts about what Kim said? What are your thoughts about the George Floyd case and the verdict and what just happened recently in Columbus, Ohio with Ma'Khia Bryant? What are your thoughts?
I'm going to be honest with you 100%. Yo, I feel sorry for that cop, straight up. And it ain't often you going to ever hear me take a white cop over a black life, ever. But this right here, everybody talking that foolishness. Imagine you and everybody, this is my beef with it. Everybody got hours to sit and think of what a cop's decision should have been when he had 0.2 seconds to figure that out. He jumped out there in 11 seconds going on. Girl, she get thrown to the ground. Grown-ass man stomp a girl. He turns around and he see another chick about to in the process of getting stabbed. What the fuck is he supposed to do? Shoot the shit out of her. And I don't give a fuck about any of that shit because all them adults who talking all that shit, what did y'all do to defuse this shit before that cop came? That's a 16-year-old girl. Your dad was there. Y'all allowed this shit. And I ain't going to lie to you. If the cop would have turned around a second later, the girl in the pink would have been stabbed, then we'd be talking shit. We let her get stabbed. Like, either way, that cop was going to get it. I ain't tripping on that shit. It happened the way it was supposed to happen. Because let's be clear here. It was way too much going on. The homegirl ain't got no remorse. I mean, I ain't going to say she got no remorse, but homegirl was acting a damn fool. She trying to stab two people. What do you do? I'm cool with that. I mean, I'm cool with that. If those ain't have shit to do with it, what do you do? The George Floyd case, I mean, I got you. But let's not be too excited here for that motherfucker get community service. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we gotta be chill and we gotta respect and everybody happy and turn it into a game. That's the shit that's sad. We fought too much shit happened against us, even if they make it 100 years. Man, we still got so much more progress to make before we get justice. One case don't equal justice. You know what I'm saying? The world looking at this. The whole world looking at this. But we making it we making it fun and games. We making memes and shit. Come on now. This is what we supposedly prayed and fought and suffer so much for us to turn it into a fucking party? Nah. They might have the last laugh for that motherfucking community service. Then we sit here and look at
so
stupid all over again, okay?
What are your thoughts, Misty, about what Nick just said? What are your thoughts about what Nick just said about, and Kim? Because both Kim and Nick both say, and I saw it too, for a small bit of it. I couldn't look at the whole thing because that stuff is just heart-wrenching to me. But what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, for one, I don't watch the news and stuff, so I'll be a little late on a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I just got George Floyd. I'm glad that they guilty verdict and all that. Is definitely needed and much more. The little girl being a mother, very saddened. Because the violence here is really getting out of control with our people, and that's the problem, and we need to come together as communities and put these kids to work, put them to test, you know what I'm saying, like test and see where their ability to strive is and get them, instead of talking about it, we need to be about it. Ain't nobody doing nothing. People aren't coming together. People aren't, we might have the vision, but nobody's willing to put in the footwork. If we get these kids doing something, they'll start feeling better, and all this fighting and all this stuff and all these killings will not be happening. They might still happen, but not so many. We have to put the footwork in for these kids to do something with their lives. They'll use their gifts and their talents. But it's very saddening to me. I'm about to cry now because I have kids and I got grandchildren, and I just really took heart, I was crying all yesterday, today, this afternoon a little bit, and it's not fair to nobody because we all lose out on that one person. You know how many minds got changed? Like, I'm not going to go out here and beef with nobody because they shooting and killing. You know how many minds got changed? Like, I'm going to go out here and we're going to get them, That one person impacted the world. That little 16-year-old girl impacted us all in some kind of way. To either sit down, talk to our kids about all this beefing and what's going on in the world, or to change their minds about it. And that's what we need to actually do. We need to gather the community together and find out what these kids want to do with themselves productively.
Right.
So we want to continue to be in this space.
Right. I feel you when you talk about the amount of crime that's even going on in Columbus. So I'm curious, Marie, what are your thoughts about the increase in crime in our hometown, in Columbus, Ohio, and what do you feel about the verdict, or how do you feel about the George Floyd case, and also about the shooting of that young teenage girl? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm watching the clock, so I don't take up too much time. First off, with the George Floyd, I'm glad he was convicted all 3 times. I don't think that it was an imposter simply because he's been in jail, and yes, he's an officer, but there's a lot of police that were very pissed at how he handled that situation. So many people came against him. What helped fill the coffin was the little 9-year-old girl. But I can honestly say I didn't follow the trial. I just watched, when it first happened and the verdict. Everything else in between, I just, I prayed about it. The crime that's going on in this neighborhood, in Columbus has gotten completely out of control, because there was two 13-year-old girls, on-again, off-again friends that was right in Cincinnati, got into an argument, 13-year-old stabbed the little girl up and killed. So we got 2 kids that's gone. We got one child that's dead, and another girl that's 13 that's going to be in either a juvenile penitentiary till she turns 21 because she's actually too young to be bounded over. But something as trivial as a fight, probably over something stupid as hell, it landed her friend half the time dead. Now, about, what's her name, Micaiah? My heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to that family. I'm like, and I'm very active. I'm very active and pro-black somewhat. But I do agree with Kim, and I have a little bit more enlightenment because I just couldn't believe it. The girl, the 16-year-old Micaiah, the one who got killed, is the one who called the police. She called the police and said, there's some girls that came over to my house and they trying to stab me, and I'm scared for my life. So anytime you use a gun, anytime there's a gun or knife involved, the police have to take that. I mean, there's no time. And like Kim and Nick said, that because I've had people like, well, he could have grabbed his taser. I'm like, and it took anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds to pull that taser out and to shoot correctly at the girl. I'm like, but as he's running up, he had a total of 13 seconds. From the time he got out the car, the way the camera was moving, he was running. Hey. And then she had already pushed the little girl down, and then the dad kicked the girl in the face. And that I completely missed the first time. And then she came right towards that woman, and within a second, I would have to say, she definitely would have got the lady. Now, so to me, if you were that afraid, why did you grab a knife and go back outside? Now, to give a little background, it wasn't her biological father. The girl was actually in foster care. That was her foster care father. I feel like the girl that was in pink, who actually is not a girl, she's a 30-year-old woman, and she is the one who drove the girl who got knocked down over to Michaela's house. But this 30-year-old woman was also she was also a foster child, so she went by there often to see them. So she knew the family, but to me, everything was initiated because a grown-ass woman in pink drove the other girl over there to fight that girl. So it's a whole lot more to it, and when the police only had a second. My heart goes out to the cop because, there's a lot of black people like, no, they just killing, and that girl's 16. Yes, she is 16. She didn't look 16. She wasn't built 16, and she was in such rage because when a cop get a call on a gun or a knife or something like that of high importance, the police is coming in sirens. So I know she heard the sirens pull up. I don't know if she heard the police say, hey, because she was so engaged in what she was doing, but it was unfortunate. And one of two things was going to happen. Either the girl was going to get shot or the lady was going to get stabbed. And that's just the bottom line. I feel like the father should be charged because he had no place. You're a grown-ass man, and you kicked this child in the face. And then all the people, why would you shoot her? That's a child. My question is, all those fucking adults that were out there, not one adult, including the woman in pink, tried to diffuse the situation. Nobody tried to talk to the parents, none of that. But everybody had their camera out. Everybody. And I don't know the cop's name, but I am very familiar with the cop because he does a lot of community work with these children. He was one of the cops involved with, getting a lot of these young children of color, to understand what the police academy is about. It's about like maybe 14, 15 of them that just graduated last month. He was a part of that, so I don't know what his conversations is when he get home, but he does not appear to be a racist cop. And people are like, well, he didn't have to kill her. Well, police are trained to kill. There was an assailant, and then when the girl called, she said, these girls are trying to stab me. And she didn't call the police and tell them that. That's what she called 911. When he jumped out the call, all he got was people came to this person's house at this address, and she said they had a knife. What she forgot to tell dispatch is, I got a knife, and I'm going out there. She didn't do that, and unfortunately, her life was cut down short. It's very misfortunate. And everything happened, and it was probably over a simple argument amongst two teenagers. But and if you notice, usually when teenagers fall out, it's a fight, or maybe somebody get jumped. It's always when adults get in the middle of it that somebody get killed. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was heart-wrenching. I hope that man get charged for kicking that girl. And the woman in pink, whose life he had to save, and he wouldn't have had to save her ass if she wouldn't have drove that girl over to the house. So she went over there with the intentions of looking for action. She just didn't know that her ass almost got killed or stabbed up in the process of initiating it. So she also should get charged because she initiated that. And that's my take on it. I feel so bad for the family because it doesn't excuse the fact that another baby died. But that baby wasn't acting like a baby. She was the aggressor. They called her, hey, what's going on? Hey, stop, get down. And as soon as he, got close up enough, all he saw was that knife coming that way. He had one choice to make. He had a choice to make, and he had a second to make it. And that's what a lot of black people are so upset because it is yet again another black person that got killed. But that's not the situation where the veteran white female cop shot the boy because you're a veteran. You know what I'm saying? You know better. You've been on the force for 20 years.
We're gonna talk about that. So we're definitely gonna talk about that because there are other police shootings that have been going on. Okay. So Misty, Dushon, what do you have to say about what Marie just said as far as the violence that's growing in Columbus and the shooting that just happened to Ma'Khia Bryant and the George Floyd case? Like, what is your take on everything?
Okay, I don't want to miss any points. I had an opportunity really to address this early this morning. And anybody that lives in Columbus, there's a Noni Banks that has the Diva movement, and I think probably everyone, it was national news across the world, felt some sort of way. And she reached out and said, hey, we got to do something. We got to start having conversations and marches, and I'm going somewhere with it. So as I got that, I thought about it, and my response now is going to be the response I made early this morning. So going with the trial, I didn't follow it. I'm glad justice was I'm glad that justice came forth for his family, and there's so many more. In terms of my response about this, the march, I said after watching the video very closely, because everybody emotional, a young black girl lost her life by the police. That was my first thought. Like, man, I really felt sad and said we got to do something. But after watching the video and watching, not but, and after watching the video, my response was the march. We got some things to do within our community, our families. And I'm going to repeat what I believe that others just said. For one, we got to start with us. We got to start with us. And I think really, if you really want to go first, these choices that we're making are two men and a woman, kid, whatever, that's making the choice to bring the child in the world is wrong right off just based off the choice. So that's a factor. Then again, there was obviously something going on with her. She was getting ready to kill that young lady. She was getting ready to take that knife and shred her. That's what the video showed. So number one, probably not number one, but I believe looking at the adults that were there, looking at the adults that were standing around, and I'm looking at the adults who were standing around, and based on the adults that were there, the young lady still lost her life. That doesn't make sense. So what I saw in that video were really bad choices. Bad choices. So the message doesn't need to, march. We got some work to do. We got some work to do. within our families, within our community. We got all this money floating around right now, and that's a whole nother topic. But and I work with, we have a mentorship program at Mifflin, and we just started. And one of a young lady said, I need help with my anger. I need help with being angry. Obviously, that young lady, there was something going on. So
right.
I don't blame the police. The police got out, and I think Rick said he didn't even have that long to make a decision. And he commanded her multiple times to put the knife down.
Right.
So who's accountable? Adults, us, community. These children they're crying for help.
Right.
And we got to teach them how to control and be disciplined and tell them about consequences. Right. If nobody telling them something, their influence is other things. Their influence is so many other things. So again, we march. What are we marching for? Well, what is that going to do?
Oh, I definitely would like to give my take on it as well. On all, on the George Floyd case, and also this recent shooting, and then I want to actually go into talk about another shooting that happened in Chicago. But first, as far as the George Floyd case, I really didn't feel in my spirit that he was not going to be convicted, even though I know everybody, well, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people were worried that the same thing that's happened in other times would happen again, and he would get off, And so a lot of people were fearful of that. But I didn't feel that we were in that kind of energy. I just didn't feel like it was going to be like if 2020, if he had that case in 2020, they might have let him off. But we're in a different energy. We're in a different shift. That's my feeling. So I'm glad that they did the right thing, because they were literally, America was at a crossroad, and they had to do the right thing. Because if they did not do the right thing for this particular case at this particular time, it could have taken America freaking 100 years back, and it would have made every militant, Black Lives Matter, it would have been crazy. It would have been horrible, and it would have been a very bad decision for America. So I think that they made a very wise decision to try this case the right way and do the right thing. This was not the time to do one of them backwards, let them off boys type things from the 50s and the 60s. Like this was that. We were at the kind of the crossroad that we were at as a country, as a people. They was going to tear up some stuff. It would have been worse than 2020. We would have been in the middle of a civil war. Believe that. They made the right decision, and I'm glad that they did. We all saw him kill that man, and there ain't no way they can talk about, his heart was enlarged. That ain't got nothing to do with you putting pressure on a major artery and keeping him from breathing for almost 10 minutes. There is no explanation for not giving this man CPR and hearing him beg for his life and calling his mama's name. Come on now. They had to do the right thing. If they didn't, we would have been in the middle of a civil war, and I really believe that. So I'm so glad that they did the right thing as far as that case goes. Now, as far as this young lady, and this right here lets you know we're not asking for the officers to not do what they're supposed to do. We're not saying that. We're not saying, policemen, just let people go run wild. Don't discipline. No, don't shoot nobody. We're not saying that. Right is right and wrong is wrong. This little girl, like they said, he didn't even know what he was walking into. So all he could see was him get out that car, the violence going on, even though he didn't show up, ain't nobody stopped. Like, they didn't even see him, and her hand raised in attack mode. That's all he saw. So what could he do? My only thing that I would say is these officers need to be taught to shoot to disable and not shoot to kill. That's really my only thing. These officers need to. What happened to shoot somebody in the leg? Y'all go to practice. To range practice, don't you? You know how to shoot the arm. If the arm is up, you got that little bullseye. I know you go at least once a month or whatever, so you know how to shoot. So my only issue is these officers are shooting to kill. So if you had to shoot her, yes, you had to shoot her. That's what you had to do. Split second. But did you have to discharge it 4 times? Did your finger have to do 1, 2, 3, 4? That's a lot of discharging to disable. You know what I'm saying? These officers are not being taught to disable, they're being taught to kill. And that's my only issue. You know what I'm saying? That's where the training needs to come in at, for sure. Because every one of these people, why was that bullet in her chest or her back or wherever it hit? It should have been in her leg. He should have been aiming low to disable. They're trying to kill. And even though this man, like Marie said, he's an officer who's out there in the community or whatever, so he needs to be retrained because he should have shot to disable, to slow her down, to make, you know what I'm saying? He could have shot that weapon, hit her in the ankle, hit her in the leg, hit her. And true enough, people can still die that way, but at least he was not shooting to kill. If you're shooting up towards the chest or towards that area of your body, that's going straight for the heart. That's a straight kill. There ain't no way around it. So that's my issue. That's my only issue is they need to be taught to shoot to disable if it's necessary. So I'm not saying it wasn't necessary to disable her because it was. She was about to attack that woman. But did he have to kill her? That's my thing. That's probably my thoughts about that. Now, as far as what Kim was saying about George Floyd's the officer, you say you think it's a decoy. I mean, that part I don't understand, Kim. So you want to explain what you mean by a decoy. You don't think that the real officer going to jail? Is that what you're trying? They gonna put a robot in this way? Like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, please explain that part.
You laugh, but yes, ma'am. Like I said, he has been, and if I can pull it, I can't do it right now, but if I can find it, I will definitely send it to you. But he has been in he's what is called a crisis actor. He's been in other crisis situations, doing whatever he's paid and commanded to do. You know, so, and if you look at his, like, they have the pictures of like the time of the Floyd shooting, I guess, and now, which it wasn't that long ago, there are some differences in the photographs, but it's just been noted.
Okay,
a little while ago.
I don't. So if you're saying that it was meant to cause this type of reaction? Like, are you trying to say that someone was hired? I mean, I'm trying to understand what you mean by a decoy and used in other crisis situations.
As it's been noted, okay, these are not my words. These are not my opinions or whatever. This is what has been, it's been posted, it's been noted before. It's been seen before in other crises that he's always there. He is a crisis actor. We have this misbelief or belief, I could just say that, this belief that everything we see is real, and it's not. Everything we're looking at is not real. I don't even want to go.
So where can they look to see that? I mean, that's a big allegation.
I will have to go back and dig it up. But there are other crisis situations where he was right there. So he's that dude.
Wow, that's
and he wasn't in it as a police officer. That's the thing. He wasn't in the situation as an officer.
Okay. Well, I definitely would need to see those. Yeah. So my next question to you, Kim, is: have you heard about the 13-year-old that was killed? I believe, was it out of Chicago, or was that Toledo? Wait a minute, it's just Latina. I'm looking at something from 2 days ago, and it says Latino groups want DOJ to investigate fatal shooting of 13-year-old Adam Toledo. That was in Chicago, I do believe, right?
I haven't heard that one, but what was he killed for?
Yeah.
What was he charged
So
with?
there was a 13-year-old little boy. I ain't going to say little boy because I'm sure he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing. However, he was running from the police. The video shows him, the body cam video shows him running, and he got to wherever, I guess he was trying, he must have had a weapon in his hand when he was running. He must have thrown the weapon somewhere at some point. Anyway, the officer yells at him, "Stop, raise your hands." So the young boy stops. I don't know if he threw his weapon at that point. I don't really know. But he stopped. He turned around with his arms up. He didn't have anything in his hands, and the officer killed him, shot him. So in that instance, that's a whole different ball game. Or do you not agree that it's the same ball game? Like, what's your feelings about that? Because it just seems like these kids are getting younger and younger. So what are your thoughts about that? If he was running from the police, but he stopped and turned around and had his hands up, what made the officer, after giving him a command to stop and raise your hand, to still fire his weapon and kill him?
Well, obviously I can't speak for the officer. But, again, if we're not holding our own folks accountable for what we're doing, we got to expect what's coming. I don't feel, based off of the information that you're giving me, because I haven't seen it for myself, so just based off of what you're saying, if the boy's hands were up, there was nothing in them. If they were up high enough where they could tell that he no longer had a weapon or was no longer reaching for a weapon, then yeah, at that point they had an opportunity to do something else. Again, I'm not a police officer, and I'm not in that situation. We also have to and not at all giving no passes, but we have to remember too that these police officers are also human beings. They also run off instinct, no matter how they're trained. Sometimes they just run off instinct. A lot of them still run off fear, no matter how they're trained, no matter how long they've been on the force. That part don't matter. Could they have done something differently since the boy was unarmed? Absolutely. Should the boy have been armed in the first place and running from the police? Absolutely not. So there's a double answer for that. What made this 13-year-old be running from have to run from the police in the first place? Why was he holding why did he have a weapon? What was going on? What happened prior to that? We're missing a whole lot. We're missing a whole lot of information.
Yeah, because it seems like the children are getting younger and younger as far as even being in the streets. You know what I'm saying? 13.
So who's
13? That makes him what?
Blamed?
The seventh grade or something? Like, you're right. You're right about that.
8th grade. Who do you blame for that? You know what I'm saying? I knew what my kids were at 13. I knew what they were every minute. Well, just about, I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
But I knew they were, you know what I'm saying? I knew what they weren't doing.
Right.
So we got to take responsibility
what are your thoughts?
As parents.
What are your thoughts to what Marie? What are your thoughts to what Tim just said about the age and just the fact that, like she said, the little boy shouldn't have been even like what you out there running from the police for at the age of 13? Like, why does it seem like the children are getting younger and younger? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, the children are getting younger and younger. But they said the 13-year-old was, what, a 21, 22, 23-year-old. So you're not talking about your typical, I go to school every day type 13-year-old. And I did hear, now I haven't followed up since then, but I heard when the police chased him, the boy did have a gun in his hand. That's what I heard. Now, unless they got video from the police camera showing that he did not have it in his hand, then that's a whole other issue. And you was like, they need the police to just to back up a little bit, that they need to, why can't they shoot them in the knees? When you're going to the police academy, you're going because you have to protect a city. So you're going to fall into situations where, it's going to be a life or death situation, particularly your life. And you want to try to make it through the day and make it home to your family. So if it comes down between my life, or you don't want to shoot this person because it looked like, they're a kid, but they got a gun, but you don't know what their thought process is. And then there's something else, and this may be going a little to the left, but you got to remember, when I graduated, it was like late 80s. Right around that time, that's when Primos came out, and people was getting big with the Primos and crack and all the rest of that stuff. Well, that had been out, but that's when it got real big. So you're talking about kids that's born that's from late 80s, early 90s. Now, those kids are in their 30s. So guess whose kids are now in their teens? Because a lot of these parents are having their kids a little bit younger and stuff. But a lot of these people took drugs and stuff while they were pregnant, and they end up having these crack babies, these primo babies, these babies, that's already got a chemical imbalance. So now these babies then have babies. So that's what you're dealing with, because you got a lot of kids whose parents are still young. And, after you is forced to take care of these kids, once you get a certain age, you ready to kick it a little bit, and so the kids have to kind of do their, a lot of children in the inner city have to kind of rely on one another and look out for one another, or maybe the parent's not there, maybe the parent is off somewhere shooting up dope. So you got to have your own survival skills. So and plus you also take that, plus you took these kids out of a normal environment from school and scholastic activities and different activities and stuff where everybody has something to do. Now you stuck in this house. I mean, we've had so many, kids going to, to the outer skirts, to the suburb malls and pulling guns, having shootouts there. You got a group of kids that's targeting elderly, beating up old women, taking their purses and shit. Elder guy had his bike, but I don't know. The man had to be in the 70s. All he's trying to do is just go home from the store. He took his bike up to the store, get something to drink, and trying to come home from the store, got attacked by a group of teenagers. They beat his ass, looking for wallet, went in his pockets, and then stole his bike. So, I mean, we're talking about these kids. It's definitely a problem. Oh, it's definitely a problem. And so we definitely have to come up with some type of solution because, I'm worried about the police killing our children, but we got our children killing kids, and you got children killing adults. You got children beating old people because the respect is not there. It was never taught. So what are we going to do? This is the issue at hand. So what are we going to do? I know one thing, I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing adults, instead of trying to come up with solutions, trying to Facebook everything. Everybody want to come Facebook famous and everybody want to have their opinion, but nobody's doing anything. Do something. Do something. And then, and for people, I say this respectfully, like, yeah, we need to get them back in class because we do. We need to get them back in activities because we do. But then in this short amount of time, they didn't have to find different ways to survive. I've heard parents like, man, these kids got to get the hell up out of here. They got to go back to school. I'm not no teacher, so they're having a difficult time. The curriculum was very difficult for a lot of people, so we are in the middle. We are pretty thick in this shit, and we got to figure something out. We have got to figure something out because if not, it's only going to get worse. Now, it's sad because the older people that I actually take care of, they don't have the same love and remorse like that. Like, oh, hey, that's what they want to do. He wanted to be grown. He out there. That's the life of being grown. A couple months ago, a 14-year-old got shot up by 4 grown-ass men. The mom on TV, my heart go out to her. Don't nobody want to bury their child. She's like, and these grown men, he's just a kid. And then the word from the streets, this just a kid just robbed 3 or 4 drug dealers. Now, when you taking somebody, if you take $20, that could get you shot. But you going in there stealing somebody's dope and you pushing money around, then, and this money and dope got to be held accountable for somebody that's higher up that you working for. somebody is going to have to pay the piper for that shit. You know, and if you the cause, you the perpetrator, they're not looking at the age. Because in a grown man's train of thought, especially a man in the streets, you were old enough to step in and shit like you a grown man. And you're going to pay the consequences, because if you was our age, we would kill you. You steal $5,000 of my money and stuff like that, I'm coming for you. You know, so because they're a kid, it's like, listen, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, it depends on that person's situation. It depends on that situation. So, a lot of these kids are not being held accountable. But medically
I'm curious,
and
Misty.
Scientifically speaking, a child's mind is not even fully developed till they're like 20, 21. And then when you add all the, you know, when we were growing up, there was more stuff to do, but we didn't have a lot of violence on TV and through videos and through stuff like that, like they have now, the access.
Right. So, because I already know, Misty, you want to jump in there because R. Marie on fire. So, Misty, what are your thoughts about what R. Marie just said?
Y'all already know, I think totally different. I think two people say basically it's the parents' fault. I ain't going to hold that one, because when you raising your kids and you know that they know better, that's not accountable to me. Whatever my child or my kids choose to do in them streets when they out there, that's on them, because they know better. They know they was taught better, they was raised better, and they know that they know better. I'm not taking accountability for what my kids go out here and do. They have to suffer the consequences. You know, I might baby you up, all boo-boo, you know, it's going to be okay, but you know you got to pay the piper. You know, I'm not taking accountability for what my kids choose to do, because everybody have a mind of their own, and they know better. Now, as far as the police shooting with the 16-year-old little girl, I believe that was a police chief that was on the news. He was saying, you know, basically saying that they are trained to shoot the torso. A lot of people are asking, why didn't he shoot her in the legs? Well, he say because it would have probably took more bullets for him to shoot her in the leg. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, it probably would have took more bullets, but it took 4 of them to shoot her in the chest. Like, why could he not use them 4 bullets to shoot her in the leg to take her down? You don't have. I don't care what nobody say. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So you said that he said that they are trained to shoot in the torso?
Yes. He said they trained them to shoot in the torso.
Then
to take
your answer right
the perpetrator out. And he said if we shoot in the legs to take them down, it will be more bullets. You could have shot her one time and it could have took her down. You ain't have to shoot her 4. Them 4 bullets could have went in her legs. You had 4.
So they were trying to save bullets.
To kill. He said it.
They trying to save bullets.
It just said that he's shooting. They're trained to shoot to kill. They are trained to take out the perpetrator.
Okay, so that
and
makes
you're
sense.
talking about more bullets by trying to shoot her in the leg. It didn't take 4 bullets to take her down. Them 4 bullets could have been aimed at her leg. Yeah,
but there you go. The training, if they're taught to shoot the torso and they're taught to shoot to kill, there it is right there. And I don't know what they're talking about. It takes more bullets. Were they trying to save some extra money for the budget? Like, I don't get it. Like, you know, were they trying to have a party at the end of the year? Like, what was them? What are those bullets? I don't understand that. So, Dushon, what are your thoughts about what Misty just said? That they're taught. They are literally what Misty is saying is they are taught to shoot to kill. You know, they're taught to shoot the torso, and shooting anywhere else, you know, will cause more bullets. And I mean, what is your thought about that? Okay, so Dushon, so I'm gonna go up here to Misty because maybe Dushon just stepped away from her. I mean, to Kim because Dushon just stepped away from her phone. So Kim, what is your thoughts about that? Being taught to shoot to kill. Because you know, as a massage therapist, where the torso is.
Yeah, I'm a little torn with that one. I mean, yeah, do what's necessary to disarm somebody to, prevent from, the situation from accelerating. I get that, but then you have to also consider if you're even if he's shot at the leg, okay, that's not going to necessarily stop her hand or anybody else with a gun or a weapon from not being able to use it. And I'm not trying to compare these two things, but a pit bull can be shot in the head and still come at your ass. If he's biting down on something, and I know this for a fact because I know who it happened to, can be gripped down on an arm of whatever it is and be shot in the head close range and still not let go. That's one bullet. It took 4 times close range for that dog to be shot in the head to let go. So it's like I'm up in the air with that. I don't think it's necessarily that you have to shoot 4 times, but I don't even know if you think about I'm gonna pull this trigger 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is stop this from happening. You're not gonna think 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not gonna think about it. Like we're having a conversation based on how it sounds logically, but if you're not in the situation at the time, you're not gonna think about, well, let me make sure I only pull 1. You're not thinking about that. Your thought is to make sure that I'm stopping this situation, prevent this, make sure this person can no longer do what they're trying to do, whatever that means, by any means necessary. Take them down.
Yes, but when we say that they are, but when you say, when Misty said they are shot to shoot the torso, for all those who don't understand the anatomy, the torso is the area where you have your ribs, your heart, it's your chest area, and your abdomen. That whole area is your torso. So if they're taught to shoot the torso, that means definitely they are shooting to kill. I want to open up the call line for anyone who wants to join in on a discussion. The number is 516-387-1247. 516-387-1247. So, I mean, in taking these officers to the ranges, or they're going to the ranges and they're discharging their weapon and they're trying to get better with their shooting and all that kind of stuff. I know that the bullseye thing is in the middle. Yes, that would be the torso and all that little area there. But when the arm is raised away from the body, couldn't he have shot at the arm that had the knife? I mean, or somewhere in it. Did it have to be like he? Because my thought is, if I'm about to hit something and something hit my arm, a bullet hit my arm or my hand or something, I'm going to stop, drop, and roll. Like, that's going to be a wrap. You ain't got to hit me there because the very arm that I was about to use then just got shot. Like, I just feel like there had to be, even if he had shot once at her arm, shot up in the air, and shot, or something, I just feel like they're shooting, their bullseye is the torso, which means that when they pull their weapons to shoot it, they are shooting to kill. They are not shooting to disable. That is like so deep to me.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that is what they're taught. Like, for instance, say, I mean, and in the young lady's case, that was not the case. But say he shot her in the leg and she turned around, because when you're fighting, your epinephrine is up. You're at your highest flight. Or have you ever seen somebody that was so high up on dope, like they try to calm you down and nothing? You can get shot once or twice. You don't even feel it because your epinephrine is so high. Or let's say, hey, I shot him in the kneecap. He's going to court, whoop-de-whoop, family at court. You're the officer. It doesn't take mad scientists for a family member or a close friend or a loved one to be like, that officer's name is so-and-so. Look them up. They can come back and get you. That's not what the police is here to protect and to serve. And he had a choice. He could either You know, I mean, there was no way he could have reached out to get that girl before she'd have gotten to that woman. There was nothing, to me, I mean, my heart I feel bad for that officer because he had to make a very split decision. He only been an officer for 16 months. So he had to make a real quick decision, and the call came in that there was somebody trying to attack somebody with the knife. So probably from what he heard through dispatch, that must have been the assailant because she definitely in the video showed that she was the aggressor. And that's just the bottom line. Now, I was told that this girl was being bullied a lot. And, you know, everybody has a breaking point. You know, you can be bullied and bullied and bullied, and finally you've had enough, and no matter what, the shit ends today. You know, so, I mean, everybody has their breaking point, and maybe they pushed her to her. You know, I don't know. You know, I don't know. But as far as the police, when they're in the academy, they're trained to kill the assailant. You have to completely eradicate the situation. You know, if you can, if it's an opportunity, then, you know, I mean, the opportunity was there. Hey, stop. Get down. She ignored all of it. And it's a pretty good chance that she didn't hear any of it. Right. I've been into a fight before, and everybody pretty much has probably been into a fight. And most of my fights, you know, you seeing everything. One particular person who I could not stand her, Lord forgive me. I'm like, but when our fight, I'm sitting up there, I'm trying to diffuse the situation. Then she gets mad, hawking spit, and it hit my face. Everything went black except her face. Everything. Oh. All the noise and shit that was around, I didn't hear nothing. All I saw was her. I heard nothing. I saw nothing but her face. And the rage that I was at, I was in complete attack mode. If an officer would have came up to me and said, I would probably not have heard him. Now, I probably would have came back, too, from the police sirens. But, you know, you can't call the police and say, you know, I'm in fear for my life. These girls out here with knives, they trying to kill them. They, you know, and then go outside with a knife. Because that's exactly what they're looking for, somebody rolling around with a knife. But that's because she was thinking with a teenage mind, not a grown person's mind. But at the academy, in order to protect, you know how many people live in a city? You know, you can't just try to shoot everybody in the damn kneecap because you got some real killers out there. Now, unfortunately, this young lady was not nowhere near one. You know, she was probably somebody got fed up. These people then came to her house. And, you know, it is what it is. No one knew what that outcome was going to be. But, I mean, it never ends pretty when the altercation gets physical anyway. So that is why, you know, that's why they're not trained to shoot you in the knee, in the foot, in the kneecap. Because, and I do believe, and I'm going to look it up, I do believe one time they did try to do that way back in the past, and that person, when he got out, came back and hunted down the police officer and tried to kill the officer and his family. So, no, I'm not going to give you a chance to come back and get me because I had to arrest you for some wrongdoing on your end. We're trained to kill, and that is how they're trained. So maybe they need to make some adjustments at the police department. But then you have a lot of people like, oh, the police ain't doing this. A lot of people who was like, defund the police. Now a lot of these cities who have defunded the police, their crime rate has went up. But they don't have the funding that they once had to have a whole bunch of police coming out there, so the time is a little longer. And you don't have as many officers as you did.
So I'm curious. Are you on the side of, yes, the police are shooting too many people, or are you on the side of the police, you know, need more funding? Like, which side of the place are you on right now? Because I just feel like I understand what you're saying as far as the police, being defunded or whatever. I mean, you cannot deny the number of police shootings, and if they are taught to kill, then that's why so many of our African American men and women are getting killed. It's because that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to kill. But there was a time when you did not shoot to kill, you shot to disable. So And there might have been one case or two, maybe a few cases where the person got out and tried to find out, but that's not the overall. There have been so many shootings and killings since then. How can you?
You're absolutely right.
I'm just.
It's not the overall, but all it takes is one. Yeah, all it takes is one. Sometimes all it takes is one. George Floyd, you know him. It wasn't like he was this outstanding man and this, prominent guy. He was a regular old guy. Everybody do their, everybody had their little dirt, do their little dirt and whatnot, or whatever, but all it took, it was that one time that they saw it, it was on tape, and it had a chain reaction around the world. Sometimes all it takes is one incident, one accident.
In that George Floyd
I don't feel
case,
like the police. I'm going to always ride with my people, but I always have to. I'm looking at the situation individually, and I have to do what, in my opinion, is fair. Like when we need the police, and there's going to be times when you actually need them. And when I need you, I need your ass to get here, because if I didn't need you, I would have never dialed 911. But I don't need you taking 10 minutes to get to an emergency situation. So it's not about being on.
Basically, you're at a catch-22. You're at a catch-22 is basically what you're saying. So, but I always felt like the George Floyd case was unique. And the reason why I say, I feel like it was unique is because I feel like there's more to this story. And I didn't follow the case all the way through, so maybe it was mentioned and I just missed that day or whatever. But I remember when the case first started that it was stated that they worked together. That the officer and George worked in the same place for at least 2 years.
They worked in the same place. They worked in the same place. George Floyd had a white girlfriend, another white girl, really liked him. I feel like that the officer was probably jealous of him because of the attention. The pizzazz, the way he walked. He's not him. And this black man is getting all this attention, and I don't like it. He's just a security guard. I'm a police officer. So now when he finally had the opportunity to get him, and see, I didn't know that George Floyd had swallowed some pills. That's what they thought was going to get his ass off. But they caught it on tape. Like, babe, I think I swallowed too many pills. That's when they first got him and got him to the ground. So that's what they tried to use. Well, he does drugs, and that causes his heart to be enlarged, and that's what caused it. But it never would have happened if he wouldn't have got to the ground and had his oxygen supply taken off. It never would have happened.
That they had a discrepancy with that. Like, some people said that's what he said, and some other people said he said, I didn't. I thought there was a discrepancy with what he actually said when he was on that ground, when they took that statement. Some people heard it differently than others, or interpreted it from the video differently. Everybody didn't hear it the same way, what he was saying. But the thing is, I feel like there was something that happened that we don't know about, that George probably knew. And if that was, this is just my assumption, this is just me, my thoughts. If that was a frequent place that George went, and this man, this officer, who something had happened with them working together, I just feel that in my spirit, like there was something that happened.
I agree.
They had some type of
I think words were exchanged. I think words were exchanged, honestly.
And maybe that officer said, if he comes by this way, call us. And maybe, because I never saw the counterfeit $20 bill. Like, what happened to the counterfeit $20 bill that caused the officers to come there from the gate? They didn't come because he was high. They came because they said he was trying to pass off a fake $20 bill. So I don't know. Did they show that? Did they bring that up in the trial? If they did, I missed that part. I don't know. But my thought is, you didn't put out the word, because some of these streets, 19 years, and you got all them complaints and stuff, you was feared on the streets. So you didn't put in a word. If you see him, call us, and then you're the last cop to come, and then and George had fear. There was fear before he even got in that car. That's why I couldn't get him in there, because he was afraid, because he already knew. There's more to this story, I believe, in that George Floyd case than the world knows. That's my feeling on that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as shooting to kill, I feel like when they start doing these reforms, this is my feelings, they should not be teaching them to shoot to kill, because every situation does not call for the person to be killed. You know,
Indeed, I agree with that.
I'm not in agreement with that. I don't know. So,
I agree with that.
Dushon, because I haven't heard from you, Dushon. So, what are your thoughts, Dushon? Are you still on the line? Okay, Dushon.
Yes.
Are you still on the line?
Yes, I am, but I had my granddaughter, so I apologize. She's that's why I'm on mute.
I was just asking you, so you didn't hear that part? Well, okay. Well, Misty, did you hear it?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so Misty, what are your thoughts? Misty, tell her.
What was the question? I missed that. I was thinking about something.
Yeah. Kim,
what was it? Just if you could just repeat the question and I'll answer it.
Basically, your thoughts on the police being trained to shoot to kill. What are your thoughts about police officers being trained to shoot to kill when every incident doesn't necessarily require that?
You know what? I would want clarification on that in terms of internal, like, why are they trained to kill? You know, when are there instances where other tools can be used? Because I've seen police officers use tasers.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a question, but I think a lot of it, again, they go off of their intuition. You know, their whatever their instinct is telling them, because it's that's just something that they do. So again, it's key to be educated on, you know, because in these situations, some of these children think this is a joke, or, you know, it's serious.
Yeah.
So again, you're dealing with the anger. You're dealing with all kind of things. We don't have to call the police. Let's get to that part.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, why are we? Like, we don't even have to go that way. And I know that's far fetched. But again, I don't think that there are incidents where they are trained to try to figure out if they're going to use a taser or not. If they come into a scene and they see a weapon and then they give a command, you know, these are choices. You are putting yourself in a situation to be killed.
Indeed.
Now, just think of it. If that was my husband, if my husband was that police officer, I would want my husband to have a gun. Because I don't want my husband going up to a situation where he could be harmed. No. So that's
and if you think about it, if that was your daughter, that was 1 or 2 seconds from being stabbed, would you have wanted the police to do whatever he had to do to stop that situation? Let's say the police shot him in the leg. That means if she's angry enough.
Of course. There was times when my son, back in the younger days, he was disrespectful. He was disrespectful to the police. And I told him, I said, let me tell you something. You are going to lose your life if you don't understand that. And I prayed, I'm like, let him get that out of his mind. So, no, you don't want anybody getting killed. And, yes, you don't want your son. But, again, I was saying pertaining to if my husband was a police officer. I would want him to have a weapon.
I feel like the mother or the family or whoever it was, because first of all, as far as going back to the case for the 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant, the people who drove them over because that happened on their own property, right? That happened at Ma'Khia's house. So whoever drove her over there, you're part of the reason why she's there. So you need to be charged with every freaking body else because you should have never drove those kids over. You walked into a dangerous situation.
Right. It's called felony murder. It's called felony murder, and it's the same thing like a home invasion. If you go somewhere and somebody gets shot and you were there and you were on somebody else's property, you will get charged with the murder.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this I know for a fact because my son is doing his time. And his cousin went up in somebody's house and they went together. The cousin, the guy got into an argument, and my cousin, shot at the dude. Dude shot at my cousin, and he got killed in court. The dude told the jury. He told the jury, I shot him. He was in my house, and his cousin was with him. My son got charged for that murder. It's called felony murder. You're charged with that because you went in. That was a felony, what you did. When that grown-ass woman drove that child over to that other child's house, she made a grown choice decision. And once they get to the bottom of the shit, I will not be surprised if she gets charged. It all got initiated when they pulled up. The only person that was driving was the woman in pink holding her puppy. She was the driver, and she is 30.
And I would like to say on that behalf because we have a lot of mothers nowadays, it ain't nothing like the 70s and the 80s when we were growing up. We used to talk it out. We used to work things out, make them say whatever. I forgive you. Please accept my apology, and y'all hug, and it's over. Nowadays, we got the parents of these children going to people's houses in straight fight mode. The parents, they're encouraging this stuff. It's sick. It's very sickening. Is very sickening, what? Everybody needs to be held accountable.
I remember, Misty, what you said. You said that you don't want to be held accountable to some stuff that your kids did, especially when you've told your kids not to do something. So, and speaking for some parents who they have tried to do everything for their kids, but their kids might be mad because of whatever's going on in the home. You might have one parent that talks against the other parent in front of kids. The kids don't respect. They out there, or the parents always at work, and the kids out and doing whatever, and they can't have nobody watching while they at work. So if you got to work, if you're a parent that you got to work, you work night shift, because a lot of parents, especially in the medical industry, you have to work night shift. You work a night shift, you can't control what your kid does. Even if if they're 16, you're not about to hire no babysitter to watch no 16-year-old, no 15-year-old, or even a 13-year-old. You're not going to hire that. You're going to say, listen, I'm going to work. Don't leave this house. I'll be back. Now, if that child goes out and does some craziness while you're at work, should you be held accountable? Like, I think some of these situations, sometimes it be because the parents on drugs, they whatever out their mind, and the kids is raising themselves, and the streets have got them. That's true. But I don't think that all the cases is like that. I think you got some cases where, you know what I'm saying, the parents have done all they can to try to get their kid on the right path, and the kids just don't want to listen because they get to that age. These kids get to this age where you can't tell them that they should stink because they don't believe it. No, your shit stink, baby. No, not mine. They don't want to hear nothing you freaking got to say. And if you tell them, listen, don't go down that road. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't hang with them. Why is Johnny at his house again? Why are you smoking weed? Why is that? You go through all that. I just seen one thing with a shootout. A son and his father. The father told the boy, found the boy that his son had a gun. He told his son to put the gun up or whatever. Somehow the son and the father in a shootout. Like, you got them kind of situations. So all the time, it's not the parents' freaking fault. Sometimes the parents have done what they could do. And
all they can do.
And so, in that case, should they be held accountable for the kids who have decided they're going to be defiant, that they became best friends with the little hood rat, and they want to follow what he's saying instead of what dad is saying or what mom's saying? Like, can you really hold the parents accountable in that way? You got a lot of kids that don't freaking want to listen, and the mothers and fathers have been up and down the juvenile, the school, everywhere, put them on punishment, took this from that, and they still don't want to act right. So what do you say about them?
Well, I blame the law for that. I also blame the law for that, because you got to remember,
and I was about to say that
parents are no longer allowed to discipline their children, or they could be brought up on charges. Right. Now, when you spare the rod, you spoil the child. They grow up to hate you because you have not prepared them for real life. And that is the truth. That is the truth. Yep. You can go down to court. You could have they've oh, this parent has been back and forth to court, but that's just that's the same thing. Do you know that if your child starts skipping school, you're at work, you're doing your job. Your child's job is to go to school, and what you're gonna do? You can't quit your job. You know what I'm saying? You lose your income. But do you know if your kid has that much truancy, guess who's going to court for that? You are.
Guess who's going to jail? You are going to court. You're going to jail, buddy.
I'm going to court for that. And I let the judge know. I said, whoa. I said, well, first, you tell me I can't spank my child, or if I spank my child, I could go to jail. So all I could do was put him in a corner. I'm like, now, certain ethnic races, that's how they've always done it. But most ethnic races, and most of them ethnic races of color, and some white people, if they see their kid is doing something, okay, it depends on what they did. But if you've done something that's warranted an ass whooping, I'm whooping your ass. Period.
Right.
I'm like, but if you hit your child, and you got, and your most rebellious time in your life is what? Your teen. 20 years ago, kids wasn't fighting their parents and shit like that. They weren't. And now kids, they poking their chest out. They talking shit.
Right.
They doing this. And I've heard children say to parents many times, if you hit me, I'll call that 1-800 number. You'll go to jail.
Absolutely. Exactly.
So what do? I'm like, my hands are tied behind my back because you tied my hands behind my back. I'm like, don't nobody.
And what they don't realize, what our people don't realize is that was a trap from the beginning. That was the trap.
What did you say,
that
Misty?
was the trap from the beginning. It was a trap. You can't whoop them. What you mean I can't whoop mine, honey? And one time I had a couple of my kids call them, because you can get beat down. Trust that. And when they come, I'm gonna tell them take you and take all of y'all, take all of them. I don't want none of them, honey. I had a couple of mine tell me, I'm gonna go ahead, call them. Because you're still getting beat down. Trust and believe. I don't care what them white folks say. I'm sorry. I don't. Didn't care.
Right.
When they started that No Child Left Behind law and all that, when they go to the doctor, do you mind stepping out the room? No. I'm not going nowhere. Whatever you got to say it right here in front of me. I'm this child's legal guardian. This is my child. Oh, you want to take her home with you? Okay, there it is. Do your business so we can get up out of here. You can't whoop your kids. Mm-hmm. Oh, do you feel comfortable at home? Ain't nobody got time for that. Y'all better start whooping these kids. That's what they need. Punch them in the mouth, chuck them in the throat, whatever y'all need to do.
I can't
because I did it.
She said,
and wasn't scared about
Lord, she said, choke him.
Indeed. Tear them up. They need it.
So, for the 13-year-old, like you said, why was he even in the situation where he was running from the police? So then that makes you want to look into what was up with that child. 13, that ain't nothing but the 6th or 7th grade. So where was mom and dad? So that'd be the question. Is this a typical? Okay, they was single parent, mom at work, kid acting up, or was this parent on drugs? Cracked out somewhere, kid running. Why was he even out there with a weapon? A friend of mine got killed recently in Chicago by a kid. He wasn't even. I think he was 14. are the gangs? So that's my next question is: are the gangs recruiting the children younger and younger? Is that what's going on? Is that why these young 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids walking around with weapons? Or are they recruiting these kids at a younger age?
These kids have nothing to do. Yeah, the real question is who's putting these guns? Where they getting these guns? We don't own no gun shop.
I can't. You said what?
I said, where are these kids getting these guns? They're getting them off the streets, but the streets are getting them from somewhere. We don't own gun shops.
Government.
We don't. Exactly.
Right. What did you say, Kim?
I forgot.
Oh, you okay?
That was me. I said they're getting them from the government.
No, ask the question again so I can ask the question again.
So, do you believe?
Oh no, I remember. I remember. So you talking about the with them being involved with gangs, and I said not necessarily doesn't have anything to do with gangs. A lot of times, and I want to see if Nick was even still on the phone because we had this conversation earlier. A lot of times, what's happening is that the kids are not even able to speak with their parents about anything that's going on in their head. The parents are not available for them, to just have conversations, to be able to express what's going on with them. They don't trust their parents enough to tell them what's going on. Or like I said, the parents don't express enough interest in the child's life to even get emotionally, psychologically involved with them in the first place. So what the kids do is they retaliate. They go get whatever they got to get, however they got to get it. They need attention. They're going to get the attention however that comes because that's what they're looking for. It doesn't matter if it comes negatively. They're just looking for the attention. So they do whatever they got to do. So they're going out, at this point, with weapons because they feel they gotta handle their business in a violent way. Well, something was going on where they probably had they may have made an effort to speak an adult. I don't even just say the parent, to speak to an adult to get some kind of resolution, to get some kind of validation, if you will, and they didn't get that. So it's like, okay, well, if you ain't gonna listen to me now, you're gonna listen to me later. If I can't talk to you, if there's nobody I can talk to, well, I'm gonna figure it out for myself. So it's like we basically abandoned them. We have psychologically abandoned our kids. We in their life, but we're not in their life. You know what I'm saying? So they find a way to have to cope with whatever it is that they have to cope with because there is nobody else other than themselves or whoever will listen. And if nobody listens, then they do what they got to do in their mind. They justify it. Well, you weren't there for me. I tried to talk to you, or you didn't make it comfortable or whatever for me to say anything, do anything. I'm screaming out loud, at least in my head, I'm screaming out loud for help some kind of way. They're giving you clues that they need to have a conversation or they need somebody to be paying attention just off of the clues. But what do? Go sit down, go watch TV, go play a game, go do whatever, go. So when they're gone, then what? Now we mad because they're gone, and then they done gone and got into some shit, or they done gone and got killed, whatever it is. But they were giving clues all along some kind of way. I need your ear. I need you to pay attention. I need to talk to you. Something. We are missing it. We have to take accountability for our parts because we are responsible for our children. They are accountable for what they do, but we are responsible, like we already said, for equipping them to be able to handle life in real life. Brushing them off ain't giving them no tools. That's making them have to figure out how to figure out. Half of these kids don't even know how to figure out anything. They don't know how to process, let me figure this out. They don't understand what tools they have. They don't understand how to take the data that they have and make it information. They don't understand that there's two different things there. They just know how to respond. They have an emotion. They're going off of that. They want to make sure that feeling they have It's justified. They want to make sure that feeling they have is pacified. It's, you know what I'm saying, satisfied. That's all they know. I feel this kind of way.
Right.
I don't want to feel this kind of way no more. Let me fix that. So, yes, in a way, we are still responsible for them. We are still accountable for what we do or don't do with or for them before it gets to that point.
So I definitely want to open up the phone lines, 516-387-1247. We're going to take a quick break only because I need to play some music real quick so I can get my mind together. And so when we come back from break, if you want to call in and say something about our topic, the number is 516-387-1247. This is some serious stuff. I mean, we're speaking on both sides of the plate. Like, we understand what the cops go through. We understand that being a civil worker, being a police officer is not easy, and every day you have to make life or death situations. I think that we're kind of torn between understanding what the police role is and what they have to do, but then also we got all these lives that are being lost, and a lot of them minorities, and we're trying to figure out, like, what can the officers do, but still do their job, but do it in a way that we're not losing so many minorities. But we'll be right back, y'all, on the Move Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussion.
And all you want is a simple thing, and that's not much to ask. Till the raindrops fall, heaven calls, the good outweighs the bad. I shout it to the world.
is Patricia M. Goins with On the Move Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussions. And you know, we bring it to you raw, unfiltered, uncut, and uncensored every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you gotta do is go to blogtalkradio.com/Patricia Goins, Goins, in case you didn't know my name, and tune in. Join our discussions. Have fun with us. We bring it to you raw, with purpose, on purpose. So I want to open up the phone lines, 516-387-1247. Definitely, if you want to, if you would like to add to our discussion, what are your thoughts about the George Floyd case? What are your thoughts about Ma'Khia Bryant's shooting? You know, the different police shootings that we've experienced over the last, I can't even just say the last year, because there's been so many shootings of minorities, and I just, it's like it's almost, you want to be on the side of police because we do need police. And if anybody says, oh, we don't need no police, y'all crazy as hell, that's why y'all calling them, because y'all can't handle the situations on your own because you got the crazies out here. So you need police. But then we're torn because why is it that the ones that y'all killing, that at least the ones that we're seeing, because at this point we're in the age of video, so the only ones that we're really seeing are being brought to national attention are the killings of African Americans or minorities. I haven't seen a lot of Caucasians killed. It may be happening to them too, but we don't see it. Ain't nobody pulling out no camera or no video. It's not making national news, so we're not seeing that. The only thing we're seeing is that y'all killing us, and there's and some of them we can understand, like with Ma'Khia Bryant, I can understand why the officer pulled his weapon. I really can, because if you're taught to save a life and you see someone's about to knife into somebody's chest, stomach, wherever the heck she was about to put that knife, you know what I'm saying? Your first response is to stop that. But dag, if you're shot to kill the torso, that means you're shooting to kill her. You're telling me you're trying to kill whoever, and everything does not need that. We've had so many killings that taser or shot to the leg to scare them, to slow them down. Some of that would have, if somebody hear a weapon go off, they going to stop, because, hell, they got to see, did I get hit? It may be a warning shot or something like that before they actually just shoot to kill. That's all I'm saying. Like, there needs to be training, because too many African Americans are getting killed. Too many minorities are getting killed, and it's all at the hand. Most of it, if they're not killing, if we ain't doing it to ourselves, it's the police doing it. So I'm just like, what do we do? And then the ages, the kids are getting younger and younger and younger. Heavens to Betsy, you got the officers now putting 8-year-old kids, scaring the hell out of them, putting them in police cars and stuff like it's just getting out of control. There's somewhere along the line, I feel like the officers, because they have not been held accountable for all this time, for all these, hardly ever, very seldom, that they have just gotten out of control. And 2020 brought the death of George Floyd and all the killings that's been happening has brought that sore, that wound, to the forefront for the world to see. So now it's time to, it's almost like having a classroom and everybody just acting crazy. You got rules and stuff, but everybody just doing what they want to do because there's no discipline, there's no structure. So now they need to have that structure, and maybe it needs to come from the government. Maybe the government needs to have certain rules that these different police officers or stations throughout the country have to follow. Something, because something that went out the box. That's all I'm saying.
Patricia,
but
can I say
do
something
know
real quick?
We need.
Can
I
say something? I also want to say something real quick, and I'm gonna make it real quick. We also have to remember, first of all, we're dealing with spiritual matters. That's one thing, but we also have to take into consideration that from the beginning, Black people, people of color, whatever, have never been considered human beings. So anything that has to deal with Black people, I'm talking about other people dealing with Black people, Black, brown people, have already put into their mind, have already been conditioned and trained to look at us and treat us as animals, as beasts. So even in the mind, consciously or subconsciously, they're not killing no human being. It's a beast because they're conditioned to think of us as such. And then we respond in that way, so it confirms what they're taught. We can't forget that. This goes way beyond just a few years ago or a couple decades. It goes way beyond that. We're talking about from the beginning, from the beginning. You're dealing with a spiritual issue first. It's always that. It's always that. From the beginning, it's that. But we're shown just a certain part of it to incite what is already written about us. If I say that you act a certain kind of way, when I say this particular word and you do, I'm going to keep saying that particular word, or I'm going to keep saying it until you do respond the way I want you to respond, so that I can go say, see what I'm saying? This is what they do. This is how they act. They're animals. They're beasts. They're not worthy of whatever. Because I could provoke you. I could train you the way I want you to behave, so I can justify my behavior toward you. I can justify my reaction because I've trained you. It is manipulation at its greatest. The world runs on manipulation. It runs on Machiavellianism. It runs on that. This is how we are. This is what the system is about. Manipulation at its greatest. And we keep falling into it because we're not paying attention. We are completely spiritually out of balance. This is why this keeps happening, because we're not paying attention to what we're supposed to be paying attention to, which is us and the things that are going on universally. We have disconnected from our source. It's going to continue to happen until we reconnect. And I'm done.
That's deep. That's deep. That's really deep. And it goes back to, I was talking about this on my YouTube channel this past week. You know, at what point is America, and I'm talking about everybody, regardless of your race or color, at what point are we going to turn this time capsule back the right way? That's what I want to say. I mean, it's time to let, you never forget what you learned from your experiences from decades or whatever. You know, you don't forget. But at what point do you decide, okay, it's time for us to move forward as a people? How can you stereotype a whole race of people that just because of maybe your experience with one, or something that your grandfather or your great-grandfather or your great-great-great-grandfather said because he didn't like, how do you continue to keep that going? At what point do you decide that, okay, I've learned the lessons of this class and there's nothing fruitful that comes from racism. There's nothing fruitful that comes from hatred. There's nothing fruitful that comes from that. So at what point are we going to turn this stop going back in time, you know what I'm saying, turn the capsule the right way and start moving forward together, united, because that's the only way that we're going to move forward as a country. We have dropped all the way down to the point where we walk around here with masks and hating each other because of the color of our skin. Like, come on now, like for real? Like, this is 2021. Like, at what point do you push the 2021 button? Because we've already been to the 1960 button, and hell, the way y'all acted, we headed since 1950, 40, 30. Like, I don't want to keep going backwards. Like, we got to move forward. It's time to move forward. That means you got to let go of those mindsets of your grandfather, your great-grandfather, and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean you forget anything. But damn it, at what point are we going to start to move forward and stop looking at people for the color of their skin? Because damn it, if you pull out a gun and shoot anybody, I don't give a damn what race or color you are, if it hits you in the right ear, if it hits you in the heart, hits you in the lungs, you dead. It don't matter what color your skin is. We should have learned from 2020 that the color of our skin, our economical status, none of that mattered, because the coronavirus didn't give a damn about none of that. It took out everybody. And if it didn't take you out, it took out somebody you know. And if it didn't take out somebody you know, you saw somebody's business freak and go to the ground because of it. So at what point are we going to get past yesterday? It's time to move forward. That's all I'm trying to say. And I know it's a spiritual war, but I do know that positive always wins. Good always wins over evil. And so there's nothing fruitful that comes from hatred. Nothing fruitful. comes from hatred. And in the end, you end up still losing. Hatred always loses. It may take a battle, but you always lose because good always overcomes evil. God is always going to overcome the devil, always. The negative energies is not going to overpower the good energies for a long period. Like at some point, good always overcomes evil. And hatred and racism and all that ain't nothing but evil, negative energy. So at what point are you going to realize that and start reaching out to people with unconditional love? That's the only thing that's going to heal our country. That's the only thing that's going to unite us. And it's the only thing that's going to take us back up to the top. Because right now, we're like a third world country for real, for real. And it's all because of hatred and not letting go of yesterday. That's my opinion. You know, that's how I feel. It just bothers me because I am not, being a nurse, you got to love everybody. You got to take care of everybody. Don't matter what their race is, what their color is, how much money they got, none of that. If we go in there to take care of a patient, we take care of that patient. Holistic care. So at what point is America going to understand that we got to deal with each other as individuals and that unconditional love, and we are all on this damn planet together. If the planet explodes, all y'all motherfuckers die. Don't matter what color you are, how much money you got. So I'm just like, with that, move forward. Good. Jimmy Christmas. I just hate that. Like, it's just ignorant to me. Woo. Somebody take over because I can't preach enough about that.
Yeah. So Patricia, one is not just about the color of skin, because if you pay attention for real, you don't hear about Haitians, Africans, Jamaicans, nothing else being taken out. You just hear about the quote unquote black man or what. It's not about the color of the skin. It's about the who we are. Period.
Well, whoever is holding that hatred towards whoever, whatever, what is wrong with you? Like, grow the hell up. Like, we're in 2021. Like, you can't keep holding on to the 1800s. You can't keep holding on to the 1700s, the 1600s. So whatever made you not like African Americans, like, let go of that shit because that's holding you back. That's what I'm saying. America need to wake the hell up, unite, because we're called United States of America. I don't know who figured out that name, but damn it, they need to do that and stop division. This division is not going to take us anywhere except for further down. That's my, whatever your reason for hatred and whoever it is that you hate, it's just taking us down and down and down and down because that's what hatred does. It pulls you down. You only rise when you unite. And I don't give a damn what color you are, or race, or nationality. If you hate somebody because they're Mexican or they're African American, whatever, what's wrong with you and your mindset? And why do you not like them? Because one person you met, last year did something wrong, so now you hate the whole race? Like, who does that? Like, excuse my French, wake the fuck up and move forward. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Wake up. Chill out. Time for us. I'm cool my guy about this mug. Wake the hell up. Push the damn button. 2021. Shit. I don't want to go back to 1950, 1940, 1930, 1856. What the hell wrong with y'all? Move forward. Damn. It takes more energy to hate somebody than it does to love somebody. Unconditional love. Tell somebody of a different race hi. Instead of trying to figure out how you going to hate on them. Good grief almighty. Okay, I'm done.
Get it out.
Okay, I'm done. I got it out of my system. I like y'all. Y'all know about. You know how it goes. You know it's that time. We got like 42 seconds.
I'm going to continue on my page. I'm going to continue.
All right, we'll be over here.
All right.
I would like to say happy birthday to my best friend, LaDonna Foster. Happy birthday, girl.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.